Today marks our departure on a brand new series. One in which literally no one asked for. But you shall receive anyways, because I don't care and I'm an asshole like that. Today, we embark on our guides of the whole cast of Dissidia NT. The plan here is we're going to be going super in-depth for a character's moves, their playstyles, and generalized ideology and mindset you should be in when playing a character. But enough of that. A slight disclaimer thingy I feel the compulsive need to throw out there because I feel like not enough people understand this. This is a guide. That is all. A guide. Like something, a sounding board to refer to. I do not want you to think that this is an end-all, be-all type of thing or dealy. I don't want you to think that what I'm saying is gospel and it is the only way to do it, because by no means is it. All I'm going to be doing is giving an overarching concept of the character, their moves, their generalized playstyle, and how they can work in tandem with things. That is it. It is up to you, the player, to take what I say and adapt it to your preferred playstyle and just run with it. Everyone can and should play a character differently in my eyes. That's just the way I feel. So I hope that all makes sense. Either way, sit back, enjoy the show, and get ready to make those sweet high leagues. Now, this guide, as I'm sure you can tell by the lovely title you see below, is focused around the Warrior of Light. We're just gonna go in order, top left to bottom right of characters, unless someone pops in and requests a specific character, or main solid or drops, which is supposed to happen this month. I'll do him right away because he's new and not many people will know how to do anything with him, to be quite frank. But you get it. Outside of Vayne or request, I'm going to go in order for each character. So yes, onwards. Warrior of Light is a character that is the literal tank of this game. He is focused on rock-solid defense more so than anything else and more than any other character within the game. Due to this, a decent amount of his moves actually tailor to a defensive playstyle with the ability to block bravery attacks and immediately counter them, which is really awesome to pull off online. Feels sick when you get that real nice parry and you just wallop someone for it. It's amazing. Now, I will warn you, he's a little slower than most. It's kind of the fate of a Vanguard to be that way, to be honest. But he can make the opponent second guess themselves like no other, because after all, you get to play a methodical game of when and when not to parry something, dodge, or go in. In lower leagues, people can be kind of dense, so yeah, you've been warned. They usually don't fall for the goofy stuff. They just tend to go in, abuse that, parry the shit out of them. That's what I do. Now though, we're gonna move on to the toolset he is given for. It's actually pretty diverse, all things considered. First off, we'll start with Warrior of Light's abilities, both his passive and his unique EX skill, as I feel like they're the best place to start to try to get a generalized idea of how a character is meant to play. So, his passive is that whenever he blocks an attack with a Shield of Light bravery attack, which we'll go over that further down the list when we're talking about his attacks. Either way, when he blocks an attack with Shield of Light, his defense will go up and certain moves he can use are enhanced. Meaning, the more you call out someone's mistakes with Shield of Light, which we're just going to refer to as Soul for the sake of this video, S-O-L, Shield of Light, the better Light will become. But only for a time, as the buff is not infinite. Do not think you're going to get god tier buffs that last forever. That'd be ridiculous. He'd be way too good if so. Next, we have his unique EX skill, Holy Chain. This is one of the bigger reasons I say he's the tank of the game. Given the passive already, implies that, but this solidifies it. Holy Chain is a skill that forces anything within a select radius to target you. This is honestly super good when your teammates are in a bind and you need to get them off, or you just want all the aggro, which will allow your teammates to just blindside the enemies at will. It is super good. It takes a while to charge, as a decent portion of the game's unique EX skills do. Usually, in my experience, I usually only get to use it once a match at best. Sometimes I don't even get that. So, knowing when to use it is going to be crucial when you need to get the attention of someone. Given you can also use normal EX skills, but that'll be later down the road. We'll talk about what I personally use as his EX set. Either way, that basically covers his abilities. Next, we'll move on to the moveset he can work with. Now we shall be covering Light's moveset. All moves, all the way. Onwards though. First we have Ascension. This is his neutral grounded bravery attack. It starts with him throwing his shield in an arc in front of his body, followed by some sword slashes and thrusts to knock the opponent far away. It has decent range and has the fastest startup out of all his moves. It's honestly a super good move to poke with, but I find it even better to just punish on whiffs and bad dodges because it works really well for getting in like that. The next move we're covering is Sword Thrust. It's his forward grounded attack. Light throws his shield in a straight line toward his opponent, which reels him in for, I believe, 3 sword thrusts. This is by far the best move used for long-range poking and sniping. It reaches a really deceptive distance, and on account of him being a vanguard, it will out-prioritize anyone whom isn't also a vanguard. Meaning he can eat through moves coming at you with it. So if you see a marksman, throw your shield straight through their attacks. Doesn't even matter. The only true negative of it is it has really gnarly recovery. If you whiff this move hard, you will more than likely be on the receiving end of punishment, maybe even a bravery attack depending on who you're trying to hit with it. Remember when I mentioned his passive being triggered by Shield of Light and also showed a slight clip of it? Well, I hope so, because that's the next move we're covering. It's Light's back-grounded attack. He puts up a shield for a decent amount of time that is capable of blocking incoming bravery attacks and cause a parry state on an enemy if it was a physical attack. If it was a marksman projectile, it's just going to eat the projectile and you'll still get the defense buff, but they will not be put in parry state. Do not think you're getting some weird like Street Fighter Dalsim parry interaction out of this, because you are not. The move at any time while the shield is up can be cancelled into the attack portion with another circle press. This move has Light summon a sword out of literally goddamn nowhere to smite his enemy with surprising range. It goes really far. Now, I'll get to finally telling you how the passives apply to this move, because this is one of the 2 moves that it does apply to. If you block an attack with this move, whether physical or marksman, there will be 3 swords that come out instead of 1 and 3 shields the next time you use it. I believe the 3 swords happen right away, the 3 shields is on next use. This includes the defense buff. He gets more damage off the attacks that connect and blocks further. This can stack up to 2 times, meaning you can have 5 shields and 5 swords coming out all at once to meme on dudes with. So if they keep trying to press dumb buttons on you, do not be afraid to use your parry. It is arguably the most integral part of how to play him, is to know when to do that parry, because you can muddle someone's mind so goddamn bad. Next is his air game, which unfortunately is really subpar. Neutral air, also known as crossover, has Light throw his shield in an arc in front of him, similar to Ascension. This move is good for air-to-air if they are around the same vertical height as you. If they're not, it's horrible. You're going to notice a trend coming up. Shield Fling, Light's fair, is very similar to Sword Thrust. Light throws his shield in a straight line to reel your opponent back to you for some sword attacks. It is worth noting, however, that unlike his grounded variant, this move actually launches the opponent in the opposite direction of you, making it a good move if your back is to the wall, as they will be splatted for it, which obviously allows a combo follow-up. His final air move is another Shield of Light. This time, it's the Radiant Sword variant. All the same rules apply. The only difference is instead of the 1 to 5 big swords he summons, it's smaller ones that multiply in number and chases foes for a small distance. It's literally his only tool that is properly a ranged, non-physical attack. So if someone tries to parry like another Warrior of Light, you will not be hard punished for it. That type of stuff. The final move we have to cover is his dash attack, which is Indomitable Charge. Light erects a barrier around him that blocks all incoming bravery attacks and follows up with a really quick sword slash. There's honestly not much else to say about the move. It's really good if you're getting in and you're trying to call someone's attack out because the barrier is completely active until he attacks. But other than that, there's not much else to note about it. It is worth noting before we leave bravery attacks, however, that each and every one of his bravery attacks, except the air variant of Soul, will wall splat the enemy. So take advantage of it and get those gnarly combos. Now we move on to his HP attacks. First, we have my personal favorite to use of them, Shining Wave. Light emits beams of light from the ground towards your enemy at an alright pace. Not too fast, not too slow, it's average. Knowing the max range of this move will help you tremendously if you want to use it properly. Now, onto why I think it's the best move. A, on account of the distance it travels, it allows Light to control the space in front of him pretty well. 2, it is a super good move for punishing bad buttons and mistimed dodges. It is absolutely amazing for those two things. And C, it eats through all of a marksman's bravery attacks, meaning if you're within distance and you throw this out as they're pressing buttons, more than likely they're going to get punished for their hubris. Like, you will eat straight through all their moves and rail them for it. And it is an amazing thing. And honestly, it makes up for the problem Light has dealing with marksmen, because despite being able to block their attacks and get his buff, he has a huge problem dealing with a lot of the marksmen because of the way their abilities work. His second move, second HP attack, is Coruscant Saber. This move features Light imbuing his sword with light to extend its range before slicing horizontally at your enemies. This is Light's other move enhanced by Soul, giving it further reach than it originally possesses. Outside of that, it doesn't do anything different. No extra damage because it's an HP attack. It doesn't start up faster, it just gets extra range. That is it. It does true combo off of wall splats, however, which is awesome. Third up is Bitter End. This is probably my second favorite of his HP attacks. Light puts up a barrier that blocks incoming bravery attacks and follows up with a thrust from his sword. This move can be held up to a whopping 144 frames. In layman's terms, that is almost 2.5 seconds you can hold this to block an incoming barrage of bravery attacks to punish them. This move is also good at dealing with pesky faster characters such as Tidus, as the timings of his attacks are really awkward, so you can literally just hold it and have him run into you and just punish him for it. It also combos off of a wall splat, taking advantage of that if you are using this move. His fourth and final HP attack is Ultimate Shield. Warrior of Light throws his shield in an arc 10 times, which ends up smiting your opponent. This move also true combos off a splat, but this move has quite a conundrum to me, as it is super good because it's a super fast startup for what it is, and it does a lot of bravery damage, but with how long it takes the move to finish, it can be sketchy to use. With that being said, I think bravery attacks just kind of bounce off while doing it, but I'm not entirely sure. But HP attacks will shut it down, hence why it's sketchy. If you use this at an inopportune time, even if it's hitting another enemy, you can easily get knocked out of it by someone else. So it makes it a really hard guessing game when to use it. Our last things we have to talk about now are his generalized pros and cons and how I personally go about stuff with him, for that is it for his moveset. There is not much else to mention here. Light is relatively balanced as a character, all things considered. For pros, we have the range he is truly capable of, which is, as I said many times, deceptive. His ability to aggro enemies, and the ability to block bravery attacks and follow up with parries. The cons, however, are pretty severe. We have him being slow, even noticeably for a Vanguard. Him outright losing the marksman without some outplaying, usually in the form of things like Shining Wave or just proper movement to get around the punishment. And finally, his blocking mechanic. I know it sounds weird to bring it up here, but this isn't Light's fault. This is the nature of the blocking mechanic, coupled with how splotchy this game's netcode can be. It is hellish to block things, to get your buffs when you have jarring lag, because your buttons barely come out on input properly, and you can't react to things, so trying to get a block with it is literally impossible. So once they fix the netcode, if they fix the netcode, that whole complaint will go away. Until then, though, it is a big problem. When I use Light, personally, I tend to run Perfect Defense as well as Provoke as my general EX skills. Perfect Defense allows you to block any attack, including HP. Now, I'm not sure if that applies to his moves capable of blocking and parrying, as I have yet to be able to try it out because online it happens, it's really hard to deal with. It might, I hope it does, because that would make some really sick stacking concepts in this game, and I sincerely hope it's a real thing. If I'm able to figure it out, I will let you know. I will either make a video about it, or I'll just throw something in the description to this video to let you know, yes, it does work. If you find out before me, please let me know. I would love to know. The second skill I mentioned was Provoked. This allows me to aggro someone off a teammate way faster than Holy Chain, as it charges much faster. The only downside is it only pulls one person at a time, like each use, but it does work at any range, so that point is almost moot. You can literally see your teammate about to get hit across the screen, target the one targeting your teammate, and provoke him, and he'll be locked on the you now. It is amazing for that. As for my mindset and playstyle when I am playing Light, I play hyper lame and slow paced for the most part. I will wait for a person to overextend and punish, all while controlling space with constant uses of Shining Wave to get like stupid people trying to dash straight at me or throw out stupid moves or just catch them off guard. I lean more towards a hyper defense side when playing by the proxy of that. As for generalized ideology, I would say make sure that you are using Holy Chain and your parries. They are the two things that help the character the best, and the Holy Chain in specific is a really good tool to pull aggro off of your teammates and allow them to literally blindside an enemy because they cannot leave, like, they cannot unlock off you and pick someone else. So if your teammate comes from behind, what the hell are they going to do about it, really? They can't see it. Remember, though, all of what I just said is me. It's how I play. You do not have to play the hyper lame defense style. It's what I do. It's also the way I tend to play in fighting games. I play super defense oriented. It's me. It does not have to be you. I expect you to take all this knowledge and find your own style out of it. That brings us to our very first Dissidia guide, the end of our guide on Warrior of Light. I sincerely hope you found this informative and generally useful, and I hope it explained well enough how Warrior of Light is meant to handle as a whole. Remember though, if you want a specific character done earlier for my other guides, throw me a comment down below, tweet at me on Twitter, the link will be in this video. And I will work on that person next. If not, we're gonna go to Garland or Vayne Solidor, whichever one happens first. Either way, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.